You're listening to The Front Porch Show. Some shows are niche shows, talking about specific topics. Others, shows about nothing. This show is the show about everything. On The Front Porch Show, we'll talk about current events, some news, a little bit of politics, along with a whole lot of life. Welcome to our Front Porch. Welcome to another episode of The Front Porch Show. I am your host, Aaron Macys. The message line number is, of course, the same as it always has been, 1-402-799-1811. Tombstone and Jeff are AWOL tonight, so Alyssa is sitting in. Thank you for joining us, Alyssa.
Hello, all.
So Tombstone had some family stuff pop up this weekend, and I think last weekend, too. Was he on last weekend?
Yeah, he was.
He was on last weekend.
All three of you.
Yeah. And so, I guess the weekend before family stuff popped up, and he's got some family in town this weekend as well. So we gave him the day off, and then Jeff spent the week at Oshkosh, I guess, at the air show.
Part of the week, I assume.
I think he mentioned he spent the week at Oshkosh, which I'm not sure.
It was going on all week.
Yeah, it was going on all week.
Wow.
At the big, what do they call it? It's Oshkosh.
Yeah.
It's Air Venture, I believe they call it.
Mm-hmm.
At the air show up there. Enjoying the beautiful sights and sounds and the smell of aviation fuel getting burned.
Right up his alley.
Right. Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I don't know. No, so he got in late on Friday night, and then Saturday morning we were scheduled to record, and he found out he had a softball tournament that day. So that meant he couldn't record, and then
like he's playing.
He was in a softball tournament. Yeah. He was in a softball tournament Saturday.
Well, I look forward to hearing about that.
I look forward to hearing about Oshkosh and the softball tournament, and then today he couldn't make it on today. So it is Sunday evening, July the 28th. The children are in bed. The news stories
Hopefully
abound.
They stay in bed.
I hope so. It was a rough day. Very, very rough day.
Sundays are always long.
Sundays are long. We get up fairly early on Sundays. I mean, it's not that early.
Today was an exception.
Today was an exception.
I slept till 8.
Inadvertently got up at 8 when should have been up at probably 7:30.
I was up at 7.
I should have been. I should have
about.
been at church by 8 or 8:15, but that did not happen today. And in order to get stuff done at church for the services, and then. We go out to lunch with friends after church. Then by the time we get home, it's 2:00. So 8 to 2, 6 hours with the boys. That's a long day for them. I mean, thankfully they got to come home for a little bit today.
Yeah.
Before services, because they didn't need to be there that early. Alyssa needed to drop me off because the truck did not get done yet. Is not fixed yet. We'll do an update on that later on in the show. We do. So yeah, we got home around 2.
Yep, and then it's nap time.
Boys didn't exactly want to nap. Myron got up at 3.
No, they both napped a decent amount of time.
It was about 3:00. Myron got up.
Thought
3,
it was
maybe
closer to
3:30. Maybe.
I think they got an hour and a half, maybe.
Maybe. And we had less than an hour, so we weren't able to record then. And then we had group tonight, and that's where the comedy began, I guess, the humorous moments with Myron. So we have some friends who are out of town. We normally meet at their house for our group, and so our Bible study group decided to meet at the church, and that's great. Church has an awesome green room area that we're able to fellowship in and spend time with our group, and it's a great place for it. There's a playground out back, so the kids can go play on the playground. And so we really haven't made when we're at church. I mean, it's nice meeting in someone's home, but the church is really a convenient place to meet as well. The unfortunate thing is that there's a water bubbler machine in the corner water cooler.
Yes.
And unbeknownst to me, and I don't think it was known to you exactly the extent, but Myron filled.
I watched him doing this, and as he was doing this, he kept filling one cup after the other and downing it. And I was like, man, that's a lot of water. But he's never eaten to excess.
Right.
Or
he's a very moderate child when it comes to
drink
food.
To excess,
right.
To where he's
exactly
not been able to tell that, that he needs to stop or that he doesn't want more. And I think he had like 5 or 6 full glasses of, ice cold water.
And he started complaining about a headache about 10 minutes before we left. And as soon as we got in the car, of course, it got worse because everything gets worse when you're in the car. And so we had to get gas, and so it took us a little bit longer to get home. And he started saying that he was going to throw up, and so we found a bag in the car just in case. And well, we made it home fine. We made it home fine, but I would say it wasn't more than 30 seconds after we were home.
Oh, he knew where he was going.
He lost all the water, and then some.
Yeah.
And so poor kid. I mean, that just it was
poor guy.
It was terrible. It really was. But kids, man, kids.
Maybe he'll learn. Maybe not.
Probably not. I remember when I was a kid, there was I should say when I was a kid, there was one time that I ate myself sick. And it was at a 4th of July party with my step grandma's family.
Yeah.
And they knew how to throw down. And there was always just excessive amounts of food. It was a buffet style, like picnic, and so much food. And we were out playing hard, probably not drinking enough water. And that was probably part of the issue.
Yeah.
I remember getting home that night to her place, and the only thing that would make me feel better was throwing up. Because I ate myself just to excess.
I don't think I've ever eaten to the point where I needed to throw up.
That was the once, and I will not go past that level. Now I came close 2 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Did.
I came close 4 weeks ago.
It was Father's Day.
Father's Day, yeah. So it was longer than that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Early June, when I did the Brazilian steakhouse with the guys. That was they terminalized it as, and I quote, meat drunk. When you've eaten like 4 pounds of meat off beautifully cooked skewers,
yep.
I've got to say, I let the last 2 or 3 skewers go by without taking any. I was very, very full. I did not throw up. I didn't want to throw up because it was just too amazing. The food was just too amazing. But it was a lot of food. A lot of food. I felt definitely funky after that. But
yeah, you were in a.
I've always said that food should be an experience, not a competition. That's why when I see these guys like, is it Joey Chestnut?
The competitive eaters.
The competitive eaters, like just downing these hot dogs. And it's so disgusting because they sit there and they dip the hot dog in the bun.
The whole thing goes down.
They dip the hot dog in the bun in water. And then they it's so disgusting to me.
It is gross.
And it's like, food is meant to be enjoyed.
Yes, but we turn everything into a competition.
Trust me. When I did on Father's Day with the guys, the Brazilian steakhouse.
Was there a competition?
No, there was not a competition. That's my point. It was not a competition. It was simply amazing. And, it's one of those things that food, I think it's part of our issue in our country. We're such a consumerist society, such a materialistic society. We've turned food into... And there's countries out there that they don't have enough, and I'm not trying to guilt people here, don't get me wrong, but there are countries in this world that don't have enough food to eat, and we're sitting there, with Joey Chestnut eating 57 hot dogs. I think that's a record. Can you double check that?
Look up the world record.
Yeah, world record for hot dog eating. That would be a solid Google search.
Yeah.
I thought it was 57. It might be more than that though.
My computer's, it's more.
Is it?
It's Kobayashi.
That's right.
Took it from Joey Chestnut.
Kobayashi's pretty crazy.
And it is now 69.
69 hot dogs down the chute. That's disgusting. That is.
Oh, wait.
Has it been beaten?
Yeah, Joey Chestnut beat it.
I thought he beat it recently.
70.
There you go. Well, here's to you, Joey. I don't know. Just weird stuff.
Good for you.
Who would want to hold that record?
It's actually 74 now.
Welcome back to the Front Porch Show. You know, I always play this intro when I kind of want to return to that happy place of zero bull crap in our country.
Mayberry? It reminds me of Mayberry.
Yeah. No, I wish we could return to that time of happiness and
we idolize that.
Look, I do.
That
I admit it.
time
I admit
existed.
I idolize it. But there's got to be a day that I hope there's a day coming someday.
When we're old and crotchety, we're going to look back and we're going to say, oh, those were the days.
I'll never be old and crotchety. You know that.
You'll be old and what?
I don't know. I'll be ornery or something. I don't know. Ornery sounds much better. I don't quite know where to start on this story. Well, we have Publix, which is a grocery store chain. We've got a woman by the name of Erica Thomas who is serving her second term as a state representative in Georgia.
Yep.
You also have a gentleman who she accuses of verbally attacking her and telling her, and I quote, "Go back to where you came from." Now, we haven't talked about the story yet, but we are gonna. Oh no, we did talk about this. We talked about this last week on the show, where Trump and I supposedly said directly to 4 congresswomen that they need to go back to where they came from. Which, if you look at the facts, he never called them out by name.
Yeah.
And he also never called them out by name.
Yeah.
Okay. They identified themselves afterwards. But neither here nor there, he shouldn't have said what he said. Okay.
Right.
He shouldn't have said what he said. But we have right here, we have Erica Thomas claiming that this guy used the same
phrase.
Epitaph? Would that be the proper word for that?
Phrase?
I don't know. I don't know if that's the right phrase
Epitaph,
or not.
I don't think would be correct.
It doesn't. The proper vernacular doesn't matter, I guess. We're gonna go to Atlanta News now. They've got a package here that we're gonna play for you guys. We're gonna hear from both Erica and the man she accuses, and from the news reporters here.
Good evening, I'm Justin Wilfine. Heated moments at a grocery store. New at 6, a state lawmaker who's 9 months pregnant confronted the customer she says harassed and swore at her.
I'll let you have your 5 minutes of fame.
You got yours?
Have your 5 minutes of fame.
You got yours.
They ran into each other again this afternoon while we were set to interview that lawmaker. Channel 2's Christian Jennings live in Cobb County tonight. And Christian, this all started yesterday in the checkout lane at Publix.
This is the Publix in Mableton, yes, and State Representative Erica Thomas says she was in the express lane that is supposed to be for 10 items or less. She admits she had more than 10 items. She was with her 9-year-old daughter. She says that a man who we now know to be Eric Sparks came up to her, started yelling at her, cursing at her, and told her, according to Representative Thomas, told her to go back to where she came from. So she posted a very emotional video on Facebook. So flash forward to today, we came here to talk to the state representative about this, and as we were here, we had already gotten an email from the man involved in all this saying he wanted to share his side of the story. We didn't know he was in the parking lot, actually in that corner over there. So the two ended up confronting each other. Here's what happened.
I'm a liar about what?
Everything that happened.
Do you feel bad?
Me telling you to go back where you came from?
Do you feel bad about yesterday?
Did I say that?
Yes, you. Are you serious? So you didn't say?
Did I say?
What did you say to me then?
Is it on video?
What did you say to me?
I called you a lazy b.
Okay, that's all
the
you
worst
did.
thing I said.
That's all you said to me?
Yes.
Okay, because that makes you look better because everybody's after you now. So that makes you look better to say that.
I know what I said.
It's okay. It's all right.
After that explosive exchange, they parted ways, and we talked to each of them individually.
She's doing it for political purposes, period. Like I said earlier, I'm a Democrat. I will vote Democrat the rest of my life. Okay? So to call me what she wants to believe for her political purposes, to make it black, white, brown, or whatever. It's so untrue.
He needs to be held accountable because people can't just go out in public areas and berate pregnant women, whether it's because I was pregnant, whether it's because I was black.
So again, he is saying that he did call her the B word. He admitted to that, but he is saying he did not say anything else that she said. He did not say go back to where you came from. She says she talked to a manager here at Publix and that they say that there are witnesses that can attest to everything she said. She also told me there is surveillance video, but that it does not have audio. Now, Publix, they're not saying anything to us except that they are working with law enforcement, Cobb County PD looking into this. I'll have much more on this story.
So there you have it.
Oh man.
The funny thing is though that even though the congresswoman says that there's witnesses, none have come forward.
So it's a congresswoman and a congressman?
Congresswoman and a guy who was at the store.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the other way around.
No. No.
I understand.
No, the congresswoman was in line getting stuff, 15 items in the
Why
general
is this a police matter?
Because it's a quote unquote hate crime because he told her to go back to where she's from, supposedly. The funny thing is that in a different audio clip that I heard of the same incident, she actually ends up backpedaling in her when they're confronting each other. I do not know body language I'm not professional in body language. But his body language in the clip, he was telling the truth.
He was pretty irate. Yeah.
He wasn't irate. He was not making a show of things.
No, he was defending himself. He was worked up.
He was matter of fact. He's like, yeah, I called you a blank.
Right.
Now, he's a real classy dude for doing that. Look.
But those people,
I know. Look, I know.
About it. If she was not a congresswoman, this would be getting zero attention.
Oh, right. It would be.
There would be nothing to look into.
But here's the thing: she wouldn't be on the news if it wasn't for this. If it weren't for this story, she wouldn't be on the news.
Right. So she is making herself.
She is making herself the headline. Now I don't know. Maybe this happened.
I mean, she's maybe it was because I was pregnant, or maybe it was because I was black.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe it was because you were in the checkout line with too much stuff and you were taking too long.
The point is, even then, I think she was backpedaling in those comments because her comment was, "And does that make you look any better by saying that?" Well, it kind of does. It makes him look less racist. Point is, he probably wasn't racist in the beginning.
Yeah, but think about that. I think the only reason we're connotating that phrase with racism is because of what just happened with Trump.
Well, no, I think, and now this is just me putting on my skeptic's hat, okay?
Yeah.
I don't think it happened.
But even if he said that, go back to where you came from. That has been a phrase that people have said to people they are annoyed with for forever, regardless of race or anything.
Yes. The problem is that in modern times, we are redefining phrases.
True.
You can't say anything right now without it being racist. You cannot say anything right now. You cannot say, as a white person, you cannot say anything without it being considered racist.
Well, I mean...
You can't say anything.
It
can all be taken the wrong way. Everything can be taken the wrong way. You can twist anything.
Yes.
And the point is I don't know whether he said this or not. Okay. But judging by the actions and by the backpedaling, I really think he didn't say this.
And I mean, he was pretty honest with what he actually did say.
I mean, he was an absolute jerk. Don't get me wrong. You do not call. You do not do that. You do not do that. That is proper. That is wrong. That is absolutely 100% wrong. But good grief. So what happens when no witnesses come forward? Does it make headlines that she's a liar?
Oh, who knows?
I guarantee it does not.
It will quietly go away.
Well, right.
It's a flash in the pan, like most news stories.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's like, we got our, whatever, how many seconds of fame, and now our news is going to move on to something else.
Right. It's really absolutely ridiculous. I'm trying to look real quick here.
Where is she from?
She's from the state of Georgia.
Oh, okay.
And so this is on the 26th. So this is 2 days ago, Friday. This is several other news articles are saying, yeah, this didn't happen. This didn't happen. Yeah, so it didn't happen. Absolutely didn't happen. But yeah, her Facebook video, I'm sure, got watched by hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
And now we have this this claim of systemic racism.
Right.
Look, racism exists.
Yes, it does.
Racism exists.
And
let us not say that it doesn't, because it does exist. I know people who are racist.
Yeah.
Okay. I have met people. I have had them in my family. Okay. It somewhere deep inside of people some people for some reason or another have a distrust for other races, and I don't know where that comes from. I don't know why.
For anything not like them.
Right. Exactly. And I think it's a fear. It's an uneducated fear.
Yeah.
But the problem is that when you sit there and you cry wolf, you delegitimize your cause.
Right.
This is a typical progressive tactic where you scream and yell about something that didn't happen, then all of a sudden it disappears. Jussie Smollett,
right,
for instance, in Chicago.
I haven't heard a thing about it since.
They're trying to charge him. They're trying to charge him they're reviewing the cases and seeing if they need to bring charges against him again.
Yep.
Because of that. If it doesn't do your cause any good, I am absolutely against racism. I have a big problem with people who do not appreciate other cultures and other races. I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But good grief, guys, you don't make garbage up. It does not help.
Yeah.
It's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
You're going to damage your cause.
And even if what she said was true, and he did say that, it is such a minor offense compared to some of the heinous acts of racism.
Right. No, I agree.
And it's the heinous ones we really need to bring into the spotlight.
Right.
Not these.
I agree.
These
quote unquote petty.
Right.
Or even I would also call them ambiguous.
Yeah. Right.
As you pointed out before,
ambiguous.
Telling someone to go back where you came from.
And the guy isn't young, No. He's up in, middle age.
He could very well be from the racist era.
Yes, but I'm saying he's also from the era where that phrase is probably
acceptable.
More
right.
common.
No, absolutely. And in and of itself, I don't think that phrase is racist. It's just not.
Right.
But guys, we have to stop, redefining words based on, some arbitrary feelings that we have. Words do pack a punch.
Yeah. And I mean,
and we have to be cautious with what we say.
Right. It's the motivation of the person. That's
right.
Key.
Absolutely.
Not the words, because you can say hurtful words to anybody and it's not necessarily racist unless that's your motivation.
I am under and maybe this is crazy, I don't necessarily think that inherently a word in of itself is wrong or bad. I think it's how it's used.
Right.
Take for instance, and I hate that we're even going down this road. I can't believe I'm even talking about it. Take for instance the N-word. It is a terrible word. Okay.
Yeah.
That is used as that is used typically in a degrading fashion for African American people. But yet in their own communities they use it.
Right.
Listen to a popular rap song.
So it depends on context.
It's there. So it's context.
Yeah.
So just because someone says the word doesn't necessarily mean that they're a racist.
Yeah.
Also, you have, like, was watching Rush Hour, Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker.
Yeah.
And Jackie Chan uses the word.
Oh, interesting.
And I was like, whoa. And because he's like,
big red flags.
because Chris Tucker was like, do what I do, say what I say. And Chris Tucker walks past one of his African American brothers.
Oh, gotcha.
And says, "What's up?" and leaves the word.
Right.
And Jackie Chan does the same thing.
Yeah.
Comedically, it was humorous.
Yeah.
But like from a social and a cultural standpoint now,
yeah,
it's like I was like, oh my goodness, wow.
Well, think about. I mean, every ethnicity has that to a certain extent. I mean, you can make fun of yourself, but then when somebody outside of your circle does it, it's like
it's this horrible thing.
I mean,
look,
yeah.
I understand that as the white man, I am the quote unquote oppressor. But I have no problem if someone calls me a cracker.
Yeah.
I am a pasty whitey with a red beard. I mean, I am as
white as
I am as white as they put possible. I am purebred European mutt. I have no problem if someone makes fun of that or laughs at me for that. I burn. I can turn into a strawberry. It's
good if people could make fun of themselves. But in the same, time, someone could use the word in a racist way.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. But my
Just
point being, words have meaning, but so does context.
Yes,
you can't just ban something arbitrarily. We watched The Free State of Jones a couple months ago. Excellent movie.
Yeah.
Incredible movie. And they used that word. It took place during the Civil War.
Yeah, it's
the movie used the word.
Accurate.
It's a historically accurate movie. All of a sudden, are we going to say that we can't use that word in that setting?
Right.
And in no way is this conversation attempting to say that racism doesn't exist. It does exist. Hatred towards other races exists. But we don't have people going out and doing lynch mobs like they used to. That happened back in the day.
We've come a long ways.
The Democratic KKK. I mean, that's who it was. It was Southern Democrats.
Yeah.
The left can can throw anything around that they want and claim that it was Republicans, but it wasn't. It was Southern Democrats. But I say that for clarity's sake. It is not. Racism is not trapped to a demographic or a political party. Racism happens.
Yeah, it's just an intrinsic flaw in human nature.
Wanting someone to go through border security in order to come to this country is not racism. Saying that we have rapists and murderers crossing our borders is not racism. We actually do have that. We also have a lot of other people crossing our borders illegally, but that is not racism by pointing out that we have murderers and rapists crossing the borders.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. Logic, people, logic. It isn't that hard. Think through it. Think what they're saying and try to understand where they're coming from. Guys, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm hated by both sides. I am independent through and through. I've had my foray into the Libertarian Party. Growing up, my parents, hard Republicans, or pretty establishment Republicans, I should say. Always voted for the R next to the name, and that's fine. To whatever they choose, that's fine. But
we live in this outraged society.
We live in this society that if you're not ticked off, you're not accomplishing anything. And I'm here to tell you that if you are ticked off, you're not accomplishing anything anyways.
Yeah.
You're not going to. I'm not going to listen to you if you're ticked off. And 50% of the rest of the nation isn't going to listen to you either. No one cares about how ticked off you are. Why do you think our voting numbers are so low? Why do you think the voter participation rate is down at, 50% or 30% of the population? because people don't care about how ticked off you are. You don't, your little issues that you're ticked off about do not matter in the big scheme of things and in the daily lives of these people. I mean, I sit there every day and I work with Hispanics. I work with African American families. It's part of my job. I inspect their houses. I don't care what color you are when you come to the door. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter. You know, when are we going to get back as a country and you know, and judge people on their character, not the color of their skin, like Martin Luther King said? Right. You know, that the same goes for this. Coming back to this story here, the same goes for this story here, guys. I mean, creating a false narrative is not going to accomplish anything. It's just absolute ridiculous.
Yeah.
It makes me so sad that people think they have to go to this extent. As I said, we may not be perfect as a nation. We have a nasty history. We had slavery in our country until the 1860s. Okay? It was bad. Yeah. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't good. I understand that. But you know what? That's our history. And as a country, we've come together and we fixed it. You know what happened in the 1960s when segregation was the rage? We fixed it as a country. We came together as a people and we fixed it.
Yeah. And you're always going to have the individuals that cause issues.
You are going to have the select few from each party, demographic, whatever, who cause issues.
But at least we're not corporately.
And you know what?
Condoning.
That's our job, to cull them. Not talking in a physical sense. Talking in a
like call them out.
Call them out. And cull is the wrong word on that.
I know.
But deal with them.
Yes.
We need to deal with them.
Yep.
If we see someone who is truly being racist, call them out.
Call them out.
Are they being mean to someone, you know, because of their race? Are they demeaning them because of their race? Call them out.
Yeah.
Call them out. You know,
and that's just human.
We're having this huge thing now where, you know, we talked about it over Halloween, where kids can't dress up as people that they you know, think are awesome because they're, you know, you can't put on a Mexican dress or whatever because that would be appropriating their culture.
Right.
You know, we can't in our kitchen make Asian food because that's appropriating their culture and that could be considered racist. You know, you can't dress like an Asian person because, you know, God forbid you're a racist now because you're wearing a Chinese dress or something or whatever.
Right.
You know, that's not racism. Racism is actually hating someone for who they are.
Right. All those things are complementary. You know, you're doing it because you like aspects of another culture.
I absolutely love. Every other Sunday, I'd say we eat Mexican food,
or more than that.
It's probably more than that. We have some amazing Hispanic restaurants in town.
Yes, we do.
And my hat is off to them. It's incredible food. And I absolutely love it. Indian food. We make chicken tikka every once in a while.
Yeah.
Amazing dish.
Well, it's
granted, it's British Indian food.
Yeah.
But Asian food.
Oh yeah.
I love Chinese food. Amazing stuff. I'm not appropriating their culture. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I appreciate what they've contributed.
And that is not diminishing their culture.
Just because you appreciate something that someone's contributed does not mean that you're demeaning them or hating them in a way. Take, for instance, we live in the Midwest. We live in the state of Nebraska. We are surrounded by Indian tribes.
Yeah.
But it's great. Their cultural heritage is diverse. It's an amazing thing. Heaven forbid you dress up at Halloween as Pocahontas.
Right.
Because that for some reason is demeaning. Why? Why is that? That's not.
Right.
You're not. You're bringing awareness. You're bringing, hey, this is an awesome thing.
Yeah.
we've lost it. We've gone absolutely mad. Anyways, we'll be right back.
Well, the sign says that it's 4 quarters for an hour, but a quarter only gets you 15 minutes. So if my math is correct, that's not an hour.
I'm ducking and everything. Guys in the house, I got scared. I dropped my hot pocket.
So we've got from the Atlantic Journal-Constitution. We've got a quote from the last story we covered, where Thomas, the Representative Thomas, was approached by Eric Sparks, who told her to, and I quote, according to Thomas, said, "Go back to where you came from." A Publix employee told the Cobb County officer that she witnessed part of the conversation and heard Thomas continually tell Eric Sparks, the Cuban American who was there, to go back to where he was from, but did not hear Sparks utter those words to Thomas.
That's funny.
So there you have it.
So who knows? It's a he said, she said.
Well, as it stands right now, the witnesses do not have any there is no corroboration from any witnesses.
Yeah.
So she is the one who has said it to Sparks, not the other way around. So
possibly.
There you go. Interesting to see how that'll unfold.
Although we probably won't hear about it.
Well, if she was the one who actually said it, we won't hear about it again.
I'm sure you can find it somewhere, but
right.
The local news.
Our next story takes us to St. Louis. Did you know that there's a World Naked Bike Ride?
I vaguely feel like I've heard about this.
That sounds painful. Just going to throw that out there.
Yeah, you think?
We talked about this with the guys and I were talking with a listener, Ben, out of New Jersey this week about that, and the guys were trying to get me to ride a bike, and I suggested that no, that'd be a bad idea because of the pain it would cause from sitting on the bike seat.
They were trying to get you to ride it naked?
No, trying to get me to ride a bike.
Oh, okay.
And I just think this bike ride would exacerbate the pain that is caused by a
painful.
I think it's a bad idea. Anyways, the World Naked Bike Ride is in its 12th year. 12th year. Someone was allegedly shooting a paintball gun at the naked cyclists.
Really?
Video was taken along the route at Tower Grove Park, where the man was seen shooting at the cyclists.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of naked riders going by. Guy whipped out his cell phone to record it, and a man started shooting at them
with a paintball gun.
With a paintball gun. Man seemed angry that there were bare bikers, which I'm looking at this YouTube video, and obviously it's YouTube. I see everyone here wearing clothes or bathing suits.
Well, yes, at least some sort of clothing.
Right. So I think this is the World quote naked bike ride.
There might be some naked ones in there. You never know.
There might be. I'm not actually going to watch the video to see.
No?
No, I'd rather not.
Should I watch it for you?
No, I think it's fine. What?
So somebody, was obviously incredibly offended that they would have.
But is it going to be helped with a paintball gun? I mean, let's be honest. Is it going to be helped with a paintball gun?
Is it going to be, is it going to be helped with any kind of attack?
It comes back to what we were talking about in the last story.
Right.
Your outrage isn't going to fix anything. Your action is.
Yep.
His outrage with a paintball gun did not help anything. In fact, we wouldn't be talking about the World Naked Bike Ride if it weren't for Mr.
Like,
Shooter here.
In this case, it's just like, is it really worth it? Whatever. Some people want to have a naked bike ride. Go right ahead.
It comes back to our culture and their.
I guess so. When you get to the whole thing of, well, what if children are present?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like children don't really care.
No, they don't. But remember,
unless we've pounded that into them.
Remember that the cultural. We have cultural differences between here and Europe, Alyssa.
I know.
And so yeah. I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. However,
yes, I am watching the video, and they probably picked clips on purpose that didn't show.
I'm sure they probably couldn't see them on
naked
TV.
People, if there were any, but yes, the majority. Well, everyone in the video has some sort of clothing on.
We bounced from St. Louis to North Carolina, where another shooting took place. This is Burke County, North Carolina. This is kind of up in the hills of North Carolina. I was hoping Tombstone was going to be here for this story because he would have a better idea on the on the location and the demographics of the area. But I think the story might tell it all. A person was riding a four-wheeler that ran over two people in Burke County on Monday morning. And the person who was riding the four-wheeler was shot and killed. 2 a.m. at a property in Conley Springs. Burke County Sheriff's Office said that two people were run over by a person riding a four-wheeler on someone else's property. A third person, later identified as Andrew Smith, then fired multiple shots at the person on the four-wheeler, and the rider was hit. The person died a short time later. Smith is facing murder charges. He said he was protecting his family. The name of the person killed has not been released. What? I would like to know the condition of the people who were run over.
Right.
What was the guy actually gunning for people to run them over, or was it, oops, I was riding on someone else's property, I inadvertently ran people over, and then Andrew Smith yanks out his shotgun and blows the guy away?
Yeah.
Was this actually he was trying to prevent someone from being hurt?
Right. It's like we're not getting the whole story.
Yeah, and this is honestly the tragedy with the news today. We present half a story, we present a couple sound bites, a couple clips.
Well, and you always phrase it in the way so it sounds the most dramatic.
Well, right, and look, I can't blame them for putting it in a diplomatic fashion. But let's give a little bit more news, I think that it would be beneficial for everyone if that took place.
Yeah.
We may actually have a news clip and an interview with Mr. Smith here. So hold on 1 second here. We got to pause the other story that's going on in the background.
The naked bike.
Yeah, that was the naked bike story, apparently. Here we go. This is from WSOC TV 9.
More breaking news now in Burke County. This is an unusual one. Police say an ATV driver ran over two people this morning, and then a man killed that ATV rider. Our Dave Faraday spoke to the man accused of pulling the trigger, who said he didn't have any choice.
Well, the suspect told me he was trying to keep other people from being hurt when he fired several shots, also telling me that he does have a concealed carry permit. Take a look at some of this video. You can see the shooting scene on Old NC 18, about 10 miles south of Morganton. We can see the SBI and deputies collecting evidence around the ATV they say was involved in all of this. Investigators say the rider who was shot and killed did not live on the property. Deputies say they got the call around 2 a.m. that 2 people had been run over by the four-wheeler, and a third person fired several shots at the rider. We spoke with Andrew Smith, who has been charged with murder in the case.
I used my concealed carry the way I thought I was trained to use it, in which I protected myself, my friends, my family.
And the sheriff tells me this midday his investigators are trying to determine whether or not the deadly shot was fired while the rider was still on the ATV. We'll have more on this developing story coming up tonight on Eyewitness News starting at 5.
That's what we've got there out of Morgantown, North
messy.
Carolina. No, so that did give us more information though, which is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, he's saying he did it in defense.
Claims he did it in self-defense. I thought it was interesting that they made the distinction that the guy may not have been on the ATV when he was shot.
Well, when they said when the shot that killed him was fired. I don't know. He was shot multiple times.
Well, shot at multiple times, yes. Look, guys, I know we've covered this before on the show. We're going to cover it again. Having a concealed weapons permit or concealed carry permit or anything does not give you the right to arbitrarily take a life or to just fire shots.
Yeah.
Your first responsibility is to defuse the situation. I have we've been in incredibly hairy situations in the housing business.
Yeah.
We have performed thousands upon thousands upon thousands of inspections over the years. I was doing some rough calculations a couple weeks ago, and I think we're up to 30,000.
Yeah.
Including the mortgage inspections we used to do. Yeah. Well over 30. And it might even be like 40,000 inspections. Anyways, we have been in some incredibly scary situations, going into vacant houses, meeting people in these houses.
Yeah.
Like really sketchy situations. And if the companies that I am working for permits it, I carry a firearm.
Mm-hmm.
Number one is for personal protection. I am carrying that firearm should the situation arise where I have to use it. I do not want to use it.
Yeah.
The last thing I ever want to do, the absolute last thing I ever want to do is take someone's life.
Yeah.
The last, I don't want to do that. I don't want to live with that. One of the problems is that people who get a concealed weapons permit, and you see this a lot of places, and I would say it's probably about 10% of the people who get them. They're just gun happy.
Yeah,
they want
it's like gung ho vigilante. You know,
they want to be able to whip it out and shoot someone. That is not the intent, and you will go to jail for that.
They want to be heroes.
Yeah, absolutely. They want to be heroes.
Yeah.
The firearm is the last resort. Firearm is always the last resort.
Yeah.
Yes, there are times that it is needed, but it is rare.
Yeah.
Most situations can be de-escalated verbally, even using physical force if need be.
Yeah.
But unless you are in an active shooter situation where that person is actively going to be firing upon you, or actually chasing you down with a deadly weapon, such as a vehicle or an ATV, I will go with that.
Yeah.
You do not need to be shooting.
Right.
Your firearm does not need to be out. You are going to end up in jail for murder.
Yeah. And it's funny, we were talking about this the other day because we watched Deepwater Horizon. How heroic acts are truly selfless acts.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, it's very different from just wanting to be the vigilante and getting all the fame.
True heroes don't seek to be a hero. And I will even apply this to leadership. True leaders don't desire to be leaders. They just happen to be leaders.
They don't desire power.
They don't desire the power. They just happen to be leaders. Same with heroes. Heroes don't desire to be a hero. It just happens.
Yeah.
You just happen to be a hero because of what you've done. Not because you're seeking out to be a hero. You know, I am a firearm enthusiast. I carry every day, just about. I hunt, I fish, I do a lot of stuff with the hunting and firearm sports. But you guys out there listening to the show right now, you know what I'm talking about. You know how we were talking about in the couple segments ago about culling the racists? We got to call the crazies in the gun culture too. You know, you got to keep them from, you got to stop them, and you got to teach them, and you got to correct them.
Yeah. And
you know, some people, I hate to say it, should not be carrying a firearm. They shouldn't. I don't think it's the government's job to say they can't, because I believe we have a constitutional right and a I should say constitutionally recognized right that we as humans have a right to protect ourselves.
Yeah. And I highly respect people who know they are not the type of person who can deal with a gun,
right,
or deal with the consequences of what would happen if they needed to use one, and choose not to. I have very high respect for those
absolutely.
people.
I think I've mentioned this to you before. There have been days that I've chosen not to carry, just because I didn't feel right about it that day.
Yeah,
just because I wasn't in the right mindset, because I wasn't, because there was just something wrong. And I decided not to.
Yeah.
I decided not to.
Or you're distracted, or whatever.
Absolutely. And I decided not to take a firearm with me. And you have to make those judgment calls. I hate to say it in this situation. I guarantee this kid was given a blood alcohol test. I also guarantee he didn't pass it. I know that wasn't part of the article. I know that wasn't part of the story.
Just from that interview.
But from the interview, I would guarantee it.
Or drugs.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So, and folks, that's the other thing you have to recognize, is that even if you have a concealed weapons permit, if you are under the influence of alcohol, typically your state does not allow you to carry under that influence.
Yep.
And so if you have been drinking, you shouldn't be carrying.
Yeah.
And that should go without saying.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're in a state that doesn't have a carry permit process. It doesn't matter if you are, as a responsible gun owner, if you have been drinking, you should not be carrying a firearm.
Anytime your decision making is impaired.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like the folks who, I know folks who, if they have a drink, or if they have a drink, they'll drive home. No problem. But as soon as they hit 2 drinks, someone else drives for them. I'm a big fan of that, okay? I'm also a big fan of that with firearms. If you are under the influence of alcohol, put your firearm in your car. Lock it up. Put it away. Put it back in your safe. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
You don't, it's not the end all. It is a great tool. I am a big advocate of that tool.
Yes.
I am a Second Amendment as they come. I am free the weaponry. Okay.
Yes.
I'm machine guns for all. I'm a big fan. But I'm for responsible ownership without government oversight.
Well, it's like you said, you've got the gun crazies. And when you think about it as a tool, if you had somebody who was like skill saw crazy or something, it's just.
Well, there are people like that. I've seen carpenters like that, and I get a little nervous around them too. So
right, but
don't get me wrong.
To put that much weight on a tool, there's something out of balance in your life.
Well, right, absolutely. If you're at the point where you can't put down that tool,
Yeah.
You know, if you have made the decision in your life that you can't put down that tool, you have an addiction problem. You don't have a
right.
And so this ultimately comes down to, this is not a gun issue. This is an addiction issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that sounds really extreme, but it is. Same with social media. If you can't let social media go for a couple days, you've got a social media issue. You know, the likelihood of you being shot up somewhere is virtually zero. Okay. There's an incredibly low number of mass shootings in this country. We have an incredibly low number of issues regarding shootings if you're outside the big cities. So, look, I understand the need to carry a gun. As I said, I carry a gun. I have no problem with people who carry guns. But if you can't put that away for one reason or another, for being under the influence of something or not feeling right about it that day, as I said, or as you said, there's people out there who I know who just don't carry a firearm. They don't believe that there's a need. They don't, and that's fine. I respect that so much. I see these people out there on Facebook land screaming, out on Facebook land screaming that, you know, oh, everyone should be required to own a firearm. No, they shouldn't.
No,
you should not be required to own a firearm.
Not everyone is built for that.
Just because it's your right.
Yeah.
Just because the Constitution recognizes it as a God-given right to protect yourself doesn't mean that you should have to exercise that right.
Yeah.
Just because the Constitution recognizes your God-given right to say what you think doesn't mean that you should all the time. If you do, you're an idiot.
Aren't we glad we don't all just say what we think?
I mean, that's basically what I do on the show every time we are on. But
kind of.
Let's be honest. My opinion is a cut above the rest.
Right.
And we're going to build that wall. It's going to be a great wall. And let me just tell you, Mexico's going to pay for the wall. Never, ever give up. Don't give up. Don't allow it to happen. If there's a concrete wall in front of you, go through it, go over it, go around it, but get to the other side of that wall.
Well, if you didn't guess it already, we've got Trump news.
Yep.
Where do we want to start? Let's start with a week ago. About a week ago now, 6 days, Monday of last week. It's been a running joke on the show that John Bolton is a war hawk. He's constantly wanting war. And I'm not sure, I don't even know how to say it, but Donald Trump seems to be going after him, playing him, goading him, I guess is the word. Apparently he keeps baiting him in front of other officials. In a new in one comment, they were talking about Iran during a Situation Room meeting, and Donald Trump goes, "Okay, John, let me guess. You want to nuke them all?"
Oh man.
In another situation, when they were in a meeting with Prime Minister Leo Varadkar from Ireland, he said, "John, is Ireland one of those countries you want to invade?"
Oh my goodness.
Another unnamed senior administration official claims that the president recently joked that John has never seen a war he doesn't like. And if it was up to him, we'd take the whole world one at a time.
Oh.
Or he'd take on the whole world at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's such a
Wow. I wonder what kind of relationship they have.
Well, right. I've wondered the same thing. I'm obviously not a fan of John Bolton. He is incredibly war hawkish. He loves the military.
Yeah.
He loves using the military, and it just seems like a very...
even Trump seems to...
Right.
He's
Trump's
kind of making
response
it a
to
joke.
it is... Yeah, exactly. So... Yeah, it's a humorous situation there. It makes me wonder how good of a relationship it is, as you said, but it also makes me wonder if Trump is not as hawkish as other parts of the administration.
Right. Well, and it's interesting too, because it would take a certain amount of, well, I guess it's pretty obvious that John Bolton is like that.
He is.
But it does take some level of discernment for Trump to make those comments.
Right, it does. Exactly. I think it speaks a little bit to him as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can throw out all the comments we want about, you know, Donald Trump being an idiot or you know, whatever. Disagree with him or not. Whatever. He has not gotten us into all these wars that have been claimed that he was going to get us into.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as he won the election, there was the beating of the drums that screamed, Donald Trump's going to get us all killed.
Yeah.
You know, nuclear war is imminent. Russia's going to attack us, which I don't know why we were going to have a war with Russia if Russia, quote unquote, won him the election. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. It seems as though if Russia was going to win him the election, they wouldn't want to also start World War III. But,
right.
you know, maybe ultimately Trump just wants the destruction of the United States, and that's, you know,
I'm
mocking.
I know.
I'm mocking.
I know.
Because the allegations are absolute hilarity.
Yeah.
They are hilarious. It doesn't make any logical sense because, oh wait, there is no logic behind it. You know, yes, Cambridge Analytica or not Cambridge Analytica. Well, yeah, Cambridge Analytica and a couple other companies, yes, obviously had a role in influencing the election.
Mm-hmm.
But no different than Facebook or Google also having an influence in the election.
Right.
If you look at, take for instance the Google search results.
Mm-hmm.
The Google algorithms are clearly swayed to one side or another.
Right.
Take for instance, if you were to Google Hillary Clinton during the election, it'll give like three good ones at the top.
Yeah.
A bad review next, a bad link, like a link to something
right.
that does not show her in a good light.
Yeah.
Another one that doesn't show her in a good light. Maybe a good one, bad one.
Yeah.
And there was a great documentary on Netflix about this whole process.
Yeah.
Where Google, it was proven that they were manipulating the results because there was no other way those results could have shown up if they weren't actually trying to rank them.
Right.
And so the thing with ranking is that you can't actually just show the results you want because otherwise people realize they're being manipulated. So you actually have to give them also results that they don't want.
Right.
And so based on your browsing history, a lot of people, many people use Chrome. I use Chrome on my computer. I log in. They know my entire search history on my phone, my computers, my tablets, everything. They know all my search histories. They take that and they know exactly who I am. They know that I am a independent, libertarian-leaning conservative male who is more than likely a Christian, who has a weird desire to look at pictures of sailboats and enjoys surfing social media. They know exactly who I am. They know me more than I know me.
Yeah.
And what they are able to do is they are able to look and they are able to tell with exact detail what type of search results you need in order to sway your opinion.
Right.
And so...
Or the ones you're looking for. Give you what you want.
But see, that's the thing. They don't exactly give you what you want because they're trying to fit a political agenda.
Yeah.
They are swaying... So what the documentary proved
the other day, you were typing in something and the suggested.
Oh wow, what was that?
It was something to do with men and women.
Right. I think it was men can.
Yeah.
And then women can.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that was.
Yeah, men can have babies. Men can get pregnant.
Right.
We're like the top. And then
let's see.
Women can fly, women can vote, women can do it. Women can do anything.
Right. That was it right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was it. It's just it's hilarious because it's definitely swayed.
Yeah.
That's the suggested search results in Google.
Oh, that's funny. And you type in men can't and there's nothing. There's nothing. Exactly. And then if you type in women can't, it's women can't have it all.
Yeah. It's very curious.
It's interesting, yeah.
Anyways, the algorithms. A great documentary on Netflix. I don't remember exactly what the documentary was called. But it dove into the whole manipulation by the... So, take for instance, Facebook. Facebook knows that I am a conservative-ish, libertarian male who is categorized as independent, Christian, conservative Christian. Mm-hmm. And what it tries to do is it tries to show me things that will inflame me. It doesn't actually show me I would say 50% of my feed is not what I want to see. It is comments and stories and content that is meant to inflame me and to get me to say something.
Mm-hmm.
The other 50% is the smokescreen.
Right, just your normal,
just the normal stuff that I may or may like or am neutral about. And it's not there to give me any, it's not there to encourage me in any way. It's simply there to keep me there. It's to keep me engaged enough to keep me on Facebook.
Yeah.
That's what it's there for. Now, I remember Facebook back in the day when Facebook actually used to show you everything that your friends posted. That was a beautiful thing.
But did it really? Was it really everything?
It did. It was everything.
It was all
It was
in your
a
feed.
timeline. Everything was in your feed, what your friends posted at any given moment.
Which at this point, it has...
It's all algorithms.
Well, it's also gotten so bloated because everyone has so many friends now.
Well, that's true as well.
That you could never...
quote unquote friends.
Sift through.
But I'd still like to see everything in order.
Yeah.
I would still like to see everything in order.
I could see that, I guess.
But yeah, so they show you the algorithm set up to show you what they think you need to see and how to outrage you and how to encourage you to comment and stuff on other people's stuff.
Yeah.
Because if you're outraged at something in our outrage culture, you will comment on it.
Right.
And
it will do absolutely no good, but
it won't do any good, but you'll comment on it. And comments drive advertising. You will get better advertising if there's comments. And so the whole it's completely slanted it's completely slanted for advertising. I mean, how does Facebook make their money? Advertising. They get money from me every month because of the show.
Yeah.
I place ads.
Yeah. And
people listen. And some of our listeners who are listening now, I'm sure are listening because of ads that we have sent out.
Yeah.
And thank you for listening. We absolutely love you guys. But just know that on social media, you are being manipulated in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
How in the world did we get there from John Bolton?
Oh boy.
Russia, collusion.
Yeah.
Swaying the election. Trump playing 4D chess was going through my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like the guy. I have many personal reasons why I do not like the guy. He's got some good policies. He's got some terrible policies.
Yeah.
Is he this crazed lunatic that the left progressives are warning us about? Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah.
Should he be president? Probably not. But that's just my personal opinion. That is my personal opinion.
Right.
You know, that's fine. You know, you talk to Tombstone or Jeff, and well, Tombstone would say yes, of course he needs to be president. Because Tombstone's on that choo-choo Trump train. But that's fine. That's his personal choice.
Yeah.
And some of our listeners out there are Trump supporters, and that's fine. But let's make sure we take off the lenses of our own bias and we view the situation in a non-biased fashion. And I mean that for both sides, not just the lovers of Trump, but also the haters of Trump.
Yeah.
Because odds are you may be outraged about, people not liking Trump. You may be outraged about people liking Trump. Odds are the truth is probably somewhere in the middle.
Right.
And if you could just get off that biased horse,
and you gotta know both sides to find the middle. Yeah.
That's one of the things that I've really been working on. And I think maybe it's an old age thing. In the last couple of years.
You old man.
I know. Well, I would say it's the last 3 or 4 years. And it could be having kids.
Yeah.
That I have really been trying to study both sides of every issue.
Mm-hmm.
And part of it is my thirst for personal understanding.
Yeah.
In all aspects of life.
Yeah.
I've got books on my bookshelf that people would not even believe. I've got Communist Manifesto on my bookshelf. I've got Bill Ayers' Rules for Radicals on my bookshelf. Why? I don't agree with either book. Not a chance. I don't agree with anything. I've read Hitler's Mein Kampf.
Yeah.
Why? Because I want to understand.
Yeah.
It's a thirst for understanding. I want to learn. I want to see. I want to understand why these people act the way that they're acting. Hitler was insane.
Yeah.
You read Mein Kampf? Oh my goodness. The man was, if I may use the term properly, bat crap crazy.
Yeah.
He was nuts. And if people had just sat down and read his manifesto, I don't know if he would have actually been elected.
I don't know about that.
You don't think so? Obviously, you're from Germany, or you grew up in Germany. You know that. Yeah. I think if more widespread people read the manifesto, he gave clear indications of what he was going to do.
Yes, but people gravitated toward what they wanted to hear. It was the right message at the right time,
which is scary. Is scary sometimes.
Yeah.
Which is what everyone does when they run for election.
Yeah.
Not just Hitler, but Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton, Reagan.
Politics. It's power.
It's politics. Right. Manipulating people for a vote. Convincing people that you are the better option than their opponents.
Yeah.
And I bring all that up to say, it is good to break out of your comfort zone and to study things that you don't agree with. It is very beneficial.
Yep.
I've got a book that I was going through, Howard Bloom's book. It's on physics, and it's how a godless cosmos creates.
Mm-hmm.
And fascinating man. The man is obviously well learned.
Yeah.
But he had a traumatic religious experience in his youth.
Yeah.
And that swayed his entire that propelled the entire book.
Yeah.
And he gave a fascinating interview that I heard one day, and I had to get his book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with the man. I think the guy's wrong. And I was reading the first 3 or 4 chapters with you in the room, and I was constantly yelling over to you, "This guy's nuts."
Yeah.
And pointing out where he was wrong and finding the inconsistencies. But that doesn't make just because he is wrong, And just because he has an incredibly biased view doesn't make his opinion any less valuable than my opinion. I may be right.
Yeah.
I may be right in my opinion.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make him less of an individual. His opinion may be worthless.
Yeah.
But him as an individual is not worthless because of that stupid opinion.
But, and I would even argue that even in where you don't agree with 99% of what's in it, there's always going to be that 1%.
Yeah.
Because they're always going to get something right.
Oh, right. Exactly. I think the way, as I said, I listened to an interview with him and he's a genius.
Yeah.
The guy is an incredibly smart man. And I decided that because he was smart, even if I didn't agree with his book, that I would buy it.
Yeah. And I mean, let's face it. There's probably not many books out there where you'd agree with 100%.
Well, no. And odds are I won't agree with, 75% of this book.
Right.
But I'm still going to read it because I respect the guy for the interview he gave.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of this comes back down to respect. I can't help but wonder, does Trump have Mustache Man on the John Bolton on the is he National Security Advisor? Oh, I don't remember what he is. What is he? He's the National Security Advisor.
Yeah.
If he I wonder if he has him on there because he disagrees with him.
Mm-hmm.
Which that would speak to Trump perhaps being more intelligent than a lot of people would give him credit for. Right.
Which is something that we really haven't seen much, I would say, in his administration. Like, he's fired more people than...
Well, Trump inherently is a bit of a buffoon when it comes to talking.
Yeah.
I mean, he says things off the cuff, ridiculous things that shouldn't be said.
Yeah.
We admit that. I made that comment about the tweet about go back to where you came from. He shouldn't have said that. That while I disagree on its racism, I don't disagree with the fact that he shouldn't have said it.
Right.
It was an idiotic comment.
Yes.
And could, yes, be taken the wrong way.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with that. Same with 80% of what he says on Twitter. Stupid stuff. But at the same time, maybe we need to just cut him a little slack.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a guy who became president, regardless of whether you think he got there with the help of Russia, or whatever. He's the president of the United States.
Yeah.
The left constantly going after him. How do you think that's going to play out in politics for the rest of our lives?
Right.
It's going to be an absolute mess. Because do you think any president is going to be treated properly after this?
I feel like it's just going to get worse before it gets better.
That's the point. I don't think it's ever going to get better because there's no way it can. As soon as one side, Republicans or Democrats, play out of that playbook, the other side is going to play out of that playbook.
Right.
We had a couple of years ago, we blocked, the Republicans blocked a Supreme Court nomination.
Right.
A couple of years later, Democrats threatened to block a Supreme Court nomination. What goes around comes around, especially when it comes to politics. We need to get back to a little bit of civility here.
Mm-hmm.
We can disagree with someone without calling them an idiot. We can disagree with someone without berating them,
and
destroying them.
And we can have discourse. We need to have discourse.
That's what America was founded upon. America was founded on disagreements and finding common ground.
And you're not going to grow as a person if you don't have discourse.
No, you won't. I don't like John Bolton. John Bolton's a war hawk. At the same time, you know what? You know what the sad thing is? Sometimes you need men like that. Because in a certain situation, when the time is right, they're going to be the people who you need.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of the movie A Few Good Men, and I can't even believe I'm referencing this because I hated Colonel Jessup in the movie. When Colonel Jessup sits there on the bench and finally loses it,
mm-hmm.
Tom Cruise is standing in front of him, and he finally goads him into revealing all. And he makes the comment that the reason why he's in the position he's in is because he's there to protect. He's there to do the hard job that no one else is willing to do, and to train these guys the way that they need to be trained. And people sitting behind a desk back in Washington can't get it. People sitting behind a court bench, sitting up on the bench, the judge sitting up on a bench isn't going to get it. The lawyers aren't going to get it either. And he's there to do the job that has to be done because it has to be done. And we're all thankful for it, but we don't want to acknowledge it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go as far as thanking John Bolton for the job he's done because I don't believe he's actually done a great job. But what I am saying is sometimes our country needs people we don't agree with to do the jobs that we don't want to do ourselves.
Yeah.
Maybe that's Trump's role right now.
Yeah. We all play a different part.
We all play a different part. And that doesn't make it necessarily evil. There's just different roles we have to play, and there's different times we need different things.
Yeah.
Take for instance our children. There are times that they need mama's loving. Other times they need the authoritarian daddy. And it just happens.
Yeah.
It happens. Sometimes different you have to pull from a different playbook sometimes in order to accomplish the goal of what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, wow, that's so far from where we originally started this conversation.
Not that far.
But I want to make just a really quick reference here. We do have pictures from inside this is a couple days ago now. Pictures from inside the British oil tanker that was seized by Iran. They are being held hostage, I guess, there still. I'm not sure of any updates since the time, but they have seen pictures of the ship. So, yeah, I mean, I really hope that an amicable solution can be found.
Yeah.
That Iran stops being silly, because if Iran keeps doing this stuff, it is going to lead to war, and
right.
Ain't nobody want war. I don't want war. I'm sick of war. We've been at war for, 24 of the last 33 years I've been alive.
Yeah.
I'm done with it. Welcome back to the Front Porch Show. 140-279-91811 is our message line number. Reach us anytime. Leave a message. We'd love to hear from you, our loyal listeners. Don't forget, you can check us out on the web at www.thefrontporchshow.com. We try to keep it updated every week with show notes. Sometimes, depending on the hour that the show is recorded, we don't get to it. I will admit. Tonight, we may not actually get to it. But I will get to it sometime this week, as it is rapidly approaching midnight here in Northeast Nebraska, and we have to have a show ready for you by 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. So that, gets a little rough. Normally we get it done a little bit further in advance and are able to post it and get it all rolling, and you guys are able to enjoy it the morning it comes out, which we promise you will have it on time.
Yeah.
Don't forget to also listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn. All those are different places you can get the show. We'd love to hear you there. We'd love to hear about you listening to them there. We'd love to hear from you and let us know your experiences with each app. Also, let us know by way of review and subscribing that how we're doing. It helps us in the long run. We've got some big plans in the future. We're trying to get on some radio stations, and we need subscribers. More subscribers, the better. Because when we go out to these radio stations with the numbers and say, "Hey, we're loved," we've got to be able to actually produce those numbers in our conversations.
Yeah.
So throw those out to us if you would, and love us, like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those fun places, and follow us there, please. The next story is a story I really don't want to touch. I don't want to, and no pun intended there. But it's absolutely necessary. If you guys have young kids around or any children under the age of like 15, you may want to have that. You may want to pause it and resume listening later, or tune out, depending on however you're listening to the show. We will finish up this topic in, let's just say, 10 minutes.
Giving us a time frame, huh?
I'm giving us a time frame. 10 minutes starting now. You know, in the United States, this all started with Bake the Cake.
Yep.
Gary Johnson of the Libertarian Party. Part of the reason I left the Libertarian Party, aside from, the neck beards and the creepy underbelly that I did not know existed when I joined the party. Gary Johnson said in a debate, in the Libertarian Party debate, when asked if a baker should be forced to bake a cake, a Christian bakery should be forced to bake a cake for a gay wedding, he said absolutely. Bake the cake.
Yeah.
And he actually kind of ran on that mantra of bake the cake.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, he seemed to think that he was running as, this all-inclusive guy, when really what it was doing was demanding a business to offer services to a group that they didn't feel that they could offer services to.
Yeah.
And so we've actually seen this. Not only did we see this in that, but that made kind of national news when he did that.
Yeah.
When he made those comments. Now we've had issues in the past with gay couples going to bakeries and wanting them to bake wedding cakes.
Yeah.
Happened in Colorado, happened in Oregon. And in many of those cases, the gay couples won.
Right.
Money, lawsuits.
Yeah.
Even though there were other bakeries in the area that could bake cakes for their weddings.
Yeah.
They went to these particular bakeries knowing that they were not going to be able to offer their services. And they demanded services. So the question is, can you demand services of a company?
Right.
Should you be able to demand services of a company?
Yeah.
Our next story takes us to Canada. If you're going to tune out, I hope you have tuned out before now. Because it's about to get weird. A Canadian small business owner, was forced to close her home-based beauty salon after refusing to provide a Brazilian wax for a transgender woman's male genitalia. So let me explain this. You have a beauty salon owner, a small private in-home beauty salon.
Yeah.
Woman running this business. Doesn't do any male work at all.
Right.
Does not do waxings on males.
Yeah.
It's her choice. That's what she's decided. She's not going to wax males.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica Yanev decided to make a big issue out of this.
Yeah.
because she was born a male with male genitalia.
That she still has.
And wanted it waxed. But see, it's okay because she's a female. Right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And so Marcia da Silva received a response about the opening of her new salon from this Jessica, who just so happens to be a transgender activist. After previously only having provided services for family and friends, they actually had an agreement to have a meeting and to
an appointment, and
an appointment to do the Brazilian waxing. That was canceled after Yanev sent a photo and identified as a transgender woman.
So, question
as in
here.
Biological male.
Is that common practice to send a picture of yourself when you're going to go in for a wax?
I don't believe so.
I mean, basically, she sent her a pic.
So we're going to mute that out. We can't say that, Alyssa.
We can't?
No, we can't say that.
You're going to have to give me the...
I'm going to have to give you the obligatory caw. That's, I'm writing down the timestamp here. Thank you, Alyssa.
You're welcome. I've just made your night, haven't I?
Yeah, that's hilarious. So, moving on. As I said, families, you best not be listening during this segment. Alyssa stalking.
But seriously. Is that common practice?
No, it's not.
Because...
No, it's not.
I mean, couldn't she be in trouble for that?
What do you mean?
Sending the picture?
No, you can't be in trouble for that. No. Unless the person says don't send those anymore. And then that would be assault.
Okay.
Or something along those lines.
So you're free to send nudes to whoever you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. Not against the law as long as you're of age.
Okay.
And the other person hasn't told you no. Absolutely. Okay. You can't choose who your clientele is going to be, Yanev said. This is about businesses and individuals using their religion and culture to refuse services to protected groups because they don't agree with it. No, Yanev. No, Jessica. This is because she doesn't want to see your junk. Your man bits.
Well, and it also says that her husband didn't want her to do it. Somewhere in the article it said that.
Yeah, I did run across that as well.
Yep.
It was safety concern, but it wasn't
comfortable.
It was safety concerns
and discomfort carrying out a Brazilian wax on a male genitalia.
So I did a little bit more research on this. You're not actually supposed to wax that.
Right.
Because it could literally lead to major issues.
Well, I mean...
Yeah, just leave it there.
She's not major issues.
Leave it there. Leave it there.
Okay.
Leave it there.
Leave it there.
Leave it there. And... So anyways, this company, this home business has been put out of business because Jessica decided to make an issue of this.
Right.
Because Jessica demanded someone touch her stuff. So the question is, is it sexual assault if you force someone to touch them?
Right.
Seriously, I'm being completely honest. Can you make that choice for yourself?
Right. It's an interesting aspect.
I'm wondering where this is going to go.
Yeah.
I'm insanely curious.
It could go a whole bunch of places.
This could go a bunch of places. But I am.
So, can you imagine how much that would hurt?
Yeah, I'd rather not think about that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, rather not think about that. Wow. So, yeah, no. I'm a big advocate. We're coming up here on the 10-minute mark. I'm a big advocate of businesses choosing being able to choose the clientele they want to choose.
Mm-hmm.
And I am at the point where I think even if a company decides that they want to be racist, sexist, whatever, they should have that right. But I also have the right to protest against that.
Right.
I also have the right not to patronize their business. I also have the opportunity to open a business that goes against that business in competition and offer services to those people who are being alienated, quote unquote, alienated by this.
Yeah.
But I don't think a business, especially a small business, should be forced to do anything.
Mm.
You know, if I want to deny service, I'm sorry, but if there's a questionable situation going on in a house, I'm not going to go into the house. You know, I'm inspecting it. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. You know, I sit there and I see these businesses, these bakeries being put out of business because of these people who are they are not doing anything other than attempting to persecute. And I use that term very, very sparingly, because I don't believe there's this existential Christian persecution going on in our country today. But you have targeted groups who have decided that they hate Christianity, they hate Christians, and they are going to pursue them, and they are going to try to put them out of business. And they do not like it. And I'm not just talking Christians here. Obviously, you've got this person. I don't know this person's religious conviction. Don't care. She just doesn't want to touch the dude's stuff. I'm sorry if families have joined us, and I just said that, but so I'm curious to see where this is going to go.
Yeah,
it's going to probably take a couple years to figure it out.
It's all so muddled and messed up.
It's Canada, so I honestly, I'm not expecting much.
Can of worms.
My favorite word is the word.
We got an issue in America. Too many good docs are getting out of business. Too many OBGYNs aren't able to practice their love with women all across this country.
Back up, you creep.
And Bernie Sanders might run. Apparently, some folks really want to see a pot-smoking socialist in the White House. We could get a third Obama term after all.
So President Trump, we've already addressed his Twitter proclivities tonight on the show several times. President Trump sends out a tweet the other day to Elijah Cummings, and he posts, and I quote, "Representative Elijah Cummings has been a brutal bully, shouting and screaming at the men and women of the Border Patrol about conditions on the southern border, when actually his Baltimore district is far worse and more dangerous. His district is considered the worst in the USA. As proven last week during a congressional tour, the border is clean, efficient, and well-run, just very crowded. Cummings' district is a disgusting rat and rodent-infested mess. If he spent more time in Baltimore, maybe he could clean up this very dangerous and filthy place."
Mm.
Oh, Donald. Oh, Donald. Anyways, everyone's attacking him, claiming this is a racist attack on Baltimore.
Wow. Yeah,
now,
I saw something about a hashtag, like the Baltimore comeback. They did some kind of hashtag.
Do you remember the Baltimore riots?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember the fact that Baltimore is second to no other city in the U.S.? Or second to no other city, I guess, period. Top 30 cities, it has the highest crime rate. It's second to Detroit for the highest rate of violent crime. Murders, Baltimore is second to no other city, with more than 50 homicides per 100,000 people. That puts Baltimore in the ranks of Jamaica, Venezuela, and El Salvador.
Okay.
For murders. Now the funny thing is that I'm double checking this right now just to make sure.
Okay.
Okay. Now I remember. I'm looking it up right now. Yeah. Fascinating. Because Bernie Sanders also said that Baltimore, that when you visit there, you'd think it was a third world country.
Wow.
So hold on. Is Bernie a racist now? Anyone?
I guess so.
Anyone who took the walk that we took around this neighborhood would not think you're in a wealthy nation. You would think you're in a third world country.
Yeah.
We've been to third world countries.
Yeah.
Many people have not been to third world countries. We've actually had the opportunity to go to a third world country. It's fascinating. And it is disturbing.
Yeah.
It's disturbing. And most of that is due to government inefficiency, overregulation, and terrible policy. Now, I want to ask you a question. Now, I'm not naming names. I'm not targeting any specific political party. But do you have any guesses of what party has been in control of Baltimore for the longest time?
My guess is it starts with a D.
You'd be correct.
Yeah.
So, my question is this. When is it wrong to call a spade a spade? Like if you're making an observation about something,
right?
When is it wrong, and when does it all of a sudden become racist? See earlier story that we talked about.
Right.
If you're listening to this live, you can go back and listen to you can listen to one of the past episodes on Spotify or past segments on Spotify.
Basically, we're interchanging racist with offensive here.
Yes, we are. Is what he said offensive? Yes, but it's true.
Yeah.
It's right.
Yeah.
It is a terrible place. I've driven through West Baltimore. It's not cool.
Yeah.
Don't get lost in West Baltimore. You literally may not make it out. And I don't mean that in a joking way.
Yeah.
The murder rate is incredibly high. You may not make it out. Think about that for a second. Just think about it. I mean,
and if you live there, more power to you.
May God have mercy on you for living there.
Be the change.
Yeah, be the change. Absolutely. What he said was not racist. Just stop it. Just crazy people, stop it. It wasn't racist. You just didn't like it.
I feel like we're dwelling on this topic a lot tonight.
It's in the news. That's the problem. It's been in every article that we've covered tonight is someone being all ticked off about something that's stupid, that doesn't exist. Just wait till we get to the final segment, okay?
Okay.
Just wait, because it's coming. Okay. It's coming.
I'm waiting.
Oh man, I tell you. Bernie Sanders also referred to Baltimore as a community where half the people don't have jobs. We're talking about a community where there's hundreds of buildings that are uninhabitable. Honestly, West Baltimore reminds me a lot of Cuba.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Uninhabited buildings.
It's so true. Uninhabitable buildings where you literally can't go there.
Yeah, dilapidated and...
So, it's disturbing. I agree. There is something we have to do. We as a country need to do something about Baltimore. But I don't think it's the government's job. I think it's the people's job.
I was going to say Baltimore needs to do something about Baltimore.
Well, the same situation happened in Flint. Okay, yeah. Flint. We've got this. Everyone's screaming about the water problems in Flint. Well, the funny thing is that Flint was given the money.
Mm-hmm.
Flint had the money. Flint could have fixed the issues.
Yeah,
they didn't fix the Flint water issues, and now they're sitting there complaining that the federal government hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
It's not the federal government's job to swoop in and take care of your butt.
Right.
It's not the federal government's job to swoop in and take care of Baltimore. The people of Baltimore need to fire the idiots who are corrupt and in leadership and who are enabling this absolute travesty of a situation to happen. And they need to get new people in office.
It's so hard to change something like that.
But it should be done. It has to be done.
Is there like a positive example in history where you can think of a city that has turned itself around?
Are you saying you just give up on them?
No, it's a serious question. Like, do we have an example we can draw from? Or is this new ground?
I think there's been stories throughout. I think you can pull. I don't have any examples, but I'm sure there's examples of cities that have fixed things and dug out of the progressive holes that they've found themselves in.
Yeah, I mean, because it's sad. Like, I wish I had heard of one. I don't think I've ever heard of one.
Take Detroit for instance. Detroit is
yes,
nothing of what it once was.
Yes,
flying over Detroit, driving through Detroit, you see swaths of houses gone. Where the houses have just been demolished and rebuilt and grassland rebuilt over them.
Right.
I watched a fascinating documentary a couple of months back on Baltimore or on Detroit, where the people of Detroit were actually taking responsibility for Detroit and changing it and fixing it. One guy started buying up all the land and blowing down these houses that were just trash, that were delinquent in taxes, and no one was paying on them, and they weren't making any money. And so he blew them down, and now he's paying taxes on the properties. And it's like, Baltimore needs something like that. Baltimore needs people to step up and to do what needs to be done to fix their city.
Yeah.
It's hard. I understand it's hard. But we got to stop relying on failed politicians to help us get out of our own issues. We have the ability. We're Americans, dagnabbit. We can do what needs to be done.
We can, but it takes community effort.
Absolutely. So start building that community and start digging out of these holes and start doing what needs to be done. I mean, if you start being the change, people will follow. They will see it.
And people are capable.
They will make a difference.
Even if they think they aren't.
We'll probably sit around and cook some soups and eat bread and desserts and just get all fat and sassy.
We eat ribs and whatnot and listen to salsa music. You see where I'm coming from?
Free ponies for all Americans, one of the overlooked issues in America today.
Honestly, probably not the topic I should be thinking about talking about right now, being hungry.
You're hungry? It's midnight.
I am extremely. Well, I didn't have dinner.
Yeah, I know.
Didn't have dinner, but we did have that incredible Mexican food for lunch.
Yes. You said you weren't really hungry.
Hashtag cultural appropriation. hashtag don't care.
Oh,
hashtag
Mexican
nom.
food rocks.
Yeah. So it really does. So incredible burrito with shrimp, chicken, and beef in it, right?
Yeah.
Rice. Skip the beans. Didn't want to be too musical with the show tonight. Decided we'd keep this as a talk show. And fairly successful at that, by the way. Keeping it non-musical.
Yeah.
So beautiful burrito covered in queso cheese, absolutely gorgeous. A little bit of lettuce, a little bit of tomatoes next to it to kind of mix in and get all happy, right? Delicious. Yep. They've got this salsa on the side. It's super hot, so hot. Yeah, it's more of a hot sauce, I guess. And the flavor, my mouth is watering talking about this again.
Just the right thing.
Like, it is so hot you cannot put the whole thing on it, right? It's that hot. But it is so good. Like, and I barely feel heat when I'm eating hot sauce. But this is just, oh my goodness, it's so good. The multiple flavors, just absolutely incredible. Where am I going from there? Oh, right. We're going to plates from Macys. Did you see the plates that Macys had?
No.
No, you didn't?
I did not.
Macys was selling plates. We'll go with the benign plate first. The first plate has two circles on it. One saying foodie. The next one saying food coma. As in, if you fill your plate to this line, you'll get a food coma.
Yeah.
That wasn't the really offensive plate, though.
Okay.
The offensive plate, and I say offensive in massive air quotes, the center circle was skinny jeans. The next circle is favorite jeans. The next circle is mom jeans. Don't laugh. It's offensive. You're fat shaming.
I'm a mom, so I can laugh.
Oh, you can laugh at that. Okay. Macys is under fire for promoting fat shaming and guilt after a woman posts photos with sections dedicated to different jean sizes. Allie Ward, a fellow podcaster, made national news when she tweeted the image yesterday. This was a couple days back now.
Yeah.
About a week ago now. Prompting responses from thousands of people, many who called out Macys for their design. Basically, outrage. Outrage.
Right.
Which
again
propagates the idea that people must eat less to be skinny. Hold on.
What a horrible
folks.
False idea.
1 second here. They called out Macys for their design, which propagates the idea that people must eat less to be skinny. Let me say that one more time, in case you didn't hear me. People called out Macys for their design, which propagates the idea that people must eat less to be skinny. Hold on 1 second. Propagates the idea? It's not an idea, it's a fact. When I eat less, I lose weight. I get skinnier. I fit into smaller pants. It's not an idea, it's a fact. That if I eat less and I put less on my plate, I'm going to be skinnier. This is not rocket science, folks. This is idiots.
Oh, man.
You've got to be kidding me.
I mean, I could see where, like, the mom jeans, like, people would take that the wrong way. It's like,
it's hilarious.
Moms have a hard enough time, and now you're gonna.
There was an article going around a couple days ago that I saw on Facebook, Twitter. I don't remember where it was, and it was an article talking about the changes that a mother goes through after giving birth.
Yeah.
Right. And everyone is all enthusiastic about the mother who, gives birth and a year later ends up with that 6-pack abs again. Right? And everyone always brings attention to that. And they're like, oh my goodness, you don't even look like you had a baby. And it's like, and the article made the right point, and I think a good point, that it's not something to be sad about if you have the quote-unquote mom bod.
Right.
That's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to be sad about. But yet our culture and our society always emphasizes that, oh my goodness, you look amazing after giving birth. Or
it's so the American culture.
Yeah, right. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be healthy. You should be healthy.
Yes.
You need to be healthy.
But we are so steeped in appearances, and appearances are so important to our culture.
There are people who are well overweight with perfect blood pressure, with perfect health, and that's fine.
Yeah.
There are people who are skinny, who are incredibly unhealthy.
Yeah.
It's a joke, people. It's just a joke.
Yes.
The joke is that mom jeans are a little bit bigger than your favorite jeans.
Yes.
It's just a joke. It's okay. Yeah. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah.
Nothing to be ashamed of, folks. I say this as a fat guy.
Yes.
There's nothing to be ashamed of. Wait, what are you agreeing with?
It was probably...
You agreeing with a fat guy comment?
No, I wasn't.
Easy there.
I mean, if you want me to, I will. But...
No, it's okay. It's okay.
It probably wasn't the wisest decision on Macys' part. I'm not saying it's wrong what they did, but knowing the offensive society,
so should we cater?
Now,
should we cater to the offensive culture?
I don't know. I assume Macys' bottom line is how much profit is this going to make to me? So yeah,
I've been looking on eBay. I want a plate.
Oh my!
Because I want it right behind me on camera.
See, and then the next thing will be like, why is it women? Why don't they have one for guys?
Because it's not that funny.
It says dad bod.
It's just not that funny.
Not as funny.
Yeah, you could do one. Here's one for guys. You could do the same thing. You could do the food coma.
Yeah.
Meat sweats.
Yeah.
Or yeah, something like that. I don't know. Random. It's late. I'm not thinking. We need to leave.
We do.
Good night, everybody. Macys, keep it up. Be offensive. I don't care. Do whatever you want. You do you. We'll catch you later, guys. www.thefrontporchshow.com 1-402-799-1811. Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, all the other places. We'll catch you guys next week. Bye-bye.